Hey guys, Joe Pye here at Advanced Innovations in Austin, Texas. Welcome to my shop. If you're a first-time visitor here because of the title of this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you can navigate your way back and go over some of the other material here. There's a lot of valuable stuff here if you're just starting out. If you're a subscriber and you've been here a million times, welcome back and good to see you. Anyway, today's video, you're buying your first lathe. It's kind of like buying your first car. You have no idea what to buy, what to look for, what to ask for until you get it home. And 6 months down the line, you go, well, I should have had this, or I wish I had that. These are things that you should probably ask and probably want to know. Anyway, go over the checklist real quick, and then we'll go over the machine and maybe point out some of the things that were on here that you can look for if you're shopping for one. First and foremost, when anybody asks me, hey, Joe, I want to buy a lathe, which one do I buy? The very first thing that I'm going to say is, well, why do you want one? Not why would anybody want one? I know why you want one, but what are you making? Are you making wheels for your go-kart? Are you making small pulleys? Are you making rings? What are you doing with it? So to identify what you plan to make, what you have the need for, will really help direct your shopping efforts. Okay? What's your budget? What is a good budget? It depends on the machine, right? Do your research on the machine, look at new, look at used, look at warranties, look at spare parts, things that it may need. Initially, how close are you to getting new? Keep it in mind, these machines can run you some cash. How do you know the machine's capacity? What will the machine hold? Well, the machine is called, this one behind me here is a 1340 closing, and 1340 is not a continuous serial number. The 1340, 13 means the maximum diameter it can hold, and 40 is the maximum length between centers. So if a machine is called a 1340, now you know why. 1550, 18140. I used to run an 18140 gap bed. Talk about a monster. Power, electricity. What does the machine require? Can you take it home, plug it into the wall socket in your garage and start making parts, or do you need to run a new circuit? Is it a single phase? Is it a three-phase? Do you have that capability in your shop or in your garage? If it's a three-phase, how much will that cost? You can go with a static converter, which is just a box on the wall that changes the phase of the machine, changes the phase of the output of the box so that you can run a three-phase on a single-phase circuit. And you do compromise some horsepower when you do that. There is a decrease in performance, but if you're not pushing this machine to its max, it's something that you will probably never, ever get in your way. As well as instant reverse capability. If the machine is capable of going instantly into reverse, with a static phase converter, you may lose that ability and it'll continue to run forward when you switch it into reverse. Bad thing. You don't want to see that happen ever on a mill or a lathe. Anyhow, big shout out to American Rotary, a sponsor of the Summer Bash over at Stan Zinkowski's place, Bar Z Ranch, Bar Z Industrial. What does it weigh? How are you going to get it home once you find it? Riggers cost money. There are teams of people out there that specialize in just this. They have the forklifts, they have the trailers, they have the tilt beds, they have the dollies. They can get it from A to B, but you're going to have to dig into your pocket to get that done if it's not something that you can have delivered and move into your shop on a pallet jack or throw in the back of your pickup truck. Shop space. Do you have enough room for this machine? Lathes are the kind of machines that would really be ideally suited if there was a lot of extra room to the left of the machine in case you're running something really long. Like, for instance, you want to thread the end of a cue stick for a reason. Well, you want to be able to get that cue stick into position and work on the very end of it while the rest of it is out in left field just swinging around. But be careful of that because they can whip and snap off and hurt people. Spindle through size. Cue stick is a great example. What is the largest diameter bar that you can feed through this machine, completely through the headstock? Now you can look at the machine from the left side, look through, or look at it from the nose, but that hole going through the middle is the bore size, the spindle bore size. It's really important to know if you're running bar stock. If you're not, if you're always going to work on small pieces, who cares what the hole through the middle is? You're never going to use it. Spindle nose type. When a machine accepts attachments, how do those attachments connect to the machine? Are they screwed on? Are they keyed with a screw-on collar? Are they pinned and cammed? What's the nose type? I personally like the pins and cams, the D-nose type spindle. You can go forward, reverse. You don't have to worry about the chuck unloosening. There it is. It's the actual word. When you throw the machine into reverse. The mass of a chuck, I'm sure it has the potential to unscrew itself from the spindle nose and cause real problems. Check the machine real well for impact damage on the tool post, on the compound, on the cross slide, on the ways. Look for dents, dings, and chips that don't belong there, and that's a very good indicator that that machine has probably crashed. And crashing a lathe is not a good thing. Tool holder. What type of tool holder are you going to put on this machine? This is the actual little gripping mechanism that holds the cutter. And if you want to go from a square cutter to a round cutter, how long does it take you to change from one to the other? With a quick change tool post, you can just go click, snap, boom, done. That quick, literally that quick. But that particular luxury is going to cost you money as well. Now my go-to for a quick change tool holder is Aloris, A-L-O-R-I-S. Pricey, versatile, but in my opinion, it's like it's only going to hurt once, but it's going to hurt. So go get one of those if you want quality. You want to get one on the first try. And if you're watching this and you have a different style or a different brand that you would highly recommend, put it in the comment line so anyone watching this can benefit by that as well. Spare parts or service available for the machine. If you buy some oddball hybrid, God knows where it came from lathe because it looks good and it runs good, what happens when it no longer runs good? Can you get parts for it, or is there a service center or technician or whatever? So do your homework. Can the machine turn tapers or run a thread? There is, on many carriages, on many cross slides, there is a taper attachment that allows you to turn a long ice cream cone shape or a very mild Morse taper. Not all machines can do that intentionally. You can do it by moving the compound around, but not all machines have taper capability or threading capability. So if that's something you need to do, make sure that when you buy that machine, it has a lead screw and a thread dial, and you can run the features that you want to run. Attachments. What type of attachments? Collets, chucks, face plates. Can you swap these things on and off? Naturally, you can probably buy an adapter to use collets, ER32, 16s, 20s, whatever. But the more things you stack up, the farther you get away from the head, the less rigidity you have, and you're going to have a sacrifice in surface finish or turning capability because of the chatter. It's just going to jump around. The closer you are to the nose of the machine, the better off you are. And what chuck do you buy when you buy your first chuck if you're only going to buy one chuck? Sounds like a rhyme coming there, right? A lot of people say four-jaw chuck is the most versatile, and I would almost have to agree with that. But not all four-jaw chucks that I know of are self-centering like a three-jaw chuck. You can take a three-jaw chuck and close it up. Material runs relatively concentric. You do that in a four-jaw, you're going to stand there and tap it around with an indicator attached to it. I have a video on what the chucks do, what type of chucks are better for what, things that you may not have thought of. I do have a video on that. I'll put a link in here somewhere. Go check that out as well. Let's take a quick look at the machine behind me, and I'll point out some of these things so you know exactly what you're looking at and not just listening about. Let's do it. The machine capacity is dictated by the number of the machine. Like I said, this is a 1340, 13-inch diameter, so that whatever material is swinging in this area here will not crash into the carriage when it gets close. Won't crash into the ways. You can probably use a little bit bigger than 13-inch material, but you're not going to be able to get the carriage as close, so keep that in mind. 40-inch. When a part is positioned between centers, the distance from this center to this center down here, 40 inches. It looks like a whole lot more than 40 inches on this camera, but it's actually not. So there you go. 13-inch means 13-inch diameter, 40 between centers. I went over the power requirements, and one thing I neglected to say was the rotary phase converter is a secondary motor, a much larger motor that will sit back here that will change the incoming single phase to three-phase to feed the machine. So keep that in mind. And if you don't have a static phase converter, they go for a rotary, but the rotary is going to cost you a few bucks. Shop space. Boom, number 7. You can see that the way this machine is positioned, considerable amount of room to the left side of the machine. I can put a solid 10-foot bar in this machine, no problem. Through spindle size dictated right there. What is this size? What is the diameter of that size? Make sure you check that. Spindle nose type. This is the cam type spindle. It takes 3 posts right here, and there are cam locks adjacent to each. Show you the back of the chucks so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, that's what the back of a cam lock chuck looks like. D-style nose. Lead screw. Do you have the need to turn threads on your machine? If you need threads, then you're going to make sure that the machine that you buy has one of these long Acme screws on it. This is called a lead screw. In coordination with the gears on the inside of the machine, and depending on where you put all these knobs and dials and levers, you will turn a variety of different threads. Even metric threads if you have the gear change capability. Okay, so make sure if you're going to buy one, it has a lead screw and a thread dial. Not all machines kick out automatically when threading, so be very careful how you thread. There is nothing like the scream of a lathe when you run into something solid while you're threading just before the machine goes bang. That's why I thread away from the headstock. When I cut a thread, I dive the tool in and I thread away from the headstock. Great video on that. Go check that out as well. Taper attachment. This machine does not have a taper attachment. A taper attachment will have a long bar that runs underneath the end of the cross slide, and there'll be a contact mechanism back here, and the bar can be set to different angles anchored to the bed, the ways, and as the carriage moves, the bar is drawn through at an angle, and the carriage or the cross slide will then move, causing the tool to move, causing the taper to be cut on the part. So if you need tapers, make sure you buy one with a taper attachment. Quick change tool holder. This is my quick change tool holder. This is a B size. These come in A, B, and C. I think there's a D. I may be wrong on that, but I think there is. Lever style. From above, you can see how these cams on the outside, wedges, they go down, and when they go down, they cause the interface to get wider. So this is on an angle right here. The outside's parallel, but the inside contact surface here is on an angle. How fast is it? Funny you should ask. Let's see. Done. Want to change that tool to this tool? If you have a lantern style or a clamp style, this is going to take you minutes. Take this off. Put this one on. Done. You want to bore something? Naturally use a boring tool, but you have multiple positions on this. There are some tool holders that allow you to put the tool in at a variety of different angles, and though I've never used one, I've seen them and they appear to be incredibly handy. Many people, I'm sure, swear by those. Make sure you have an air supply, and all my collets and tool holders are within arm's reach for easy access during the daily operation. Well, guys, I think that's about it. I believe that I touched off on just about every aspect of buying your first machine that you would probably need to think about before you go out and do it. I hope you found it helpful. I will put that checklist in the closing credits so you can go over the line items, you can print it out, you can take notes, do whatever you need to do. Sorry it's been so long since I posted a video, been a little bit busy. Fixture plates back in stock. Only a couple of metrics left. If you want one, you better get them because they leave the building fairly quickly. Check out the website, see what kind of swag you can pick up, support the channel. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you spending some time with me today. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're well, happy, and safe. All of the above. I am Joe Pye at Advanced Innovations in Austin, Texas. I'm out. Hey guys, a couple more second thoughts on when you actually go to buy the machine. Buying a machine that's under power is probably a much better scenario than buying one that's sitting there cold. You don't know what you're getting if you can't hear it run or see it move. Cycle the machine through every speed range that it has available. Even if it takes several minutes, if the guy really wants to sell the machine, he'll tolerate that. So check every speed, check it in reverse, check all the levers for function, cross slide, carriage movement, check everything that can move, click or pop. Look for broken teeth on broken sections of the lead screw. Look for excessive wear on the bedways, and you'll be able to pick that up. Like go all the way to the right-hand side of the machine underneath the tailstock and look at the condition of the ways in that area, because that probably hasn't seen as much movement as where the carriage is. So look for a severe change in the surface finish. That's a pretty good indicator that things are starting to wear out. And if you can, turn a piece of bar stock, put a 2-inch diameter piece of bar stock in there, turn it and check the diameter. You'll know whether or not the carriage is dipping, moving, rolling, how everything's aligned up. So there you go. Put it through all the speed ranges, check the threading attachment, the thread dial, make sure all the teeth are on the thread dial, make sure the lead screw's intact. That's about it. That's all I did when I bought my first machine, and it worked out fairly well. And I hate to say this, but consider buying just a little bit bigger than you actually think you need, because somewhere down the line you're going to say, I wish I bought something a little bit bigger than I thought I actually needed. No kidding. Serious. Check it out. Good luck. Keep your eyes open. Had a checklist. I'm Joe Pye, Advanced Innovations in Austin, Texas. I'm out. Oh yeah. Okay.